welcome to Wellness Unplugged, the podcast where we talk about real, raw, and often controversial topics around mental health and well-being. I'm Lesley, your host, and today we're going to dive into a question that many of us have wrestled with at one point or another. Am I an introvert, or do I just hate people? We've all been there. You cancel plans and feel instant relief. You have zero interest in small talk, but could talk about your weird hobby for hours. The idea of a team-building weekend makes you want to fake your own disappearance? So, is this actually introversion, or are we just burnt out from human interaction? Today we'll break it down. We'll look at what real introversion is and what it isn't, why social burnout makes people more annoying, the psychology behind why we think we hate people, but we actually don't. How to recharge in a way that works for you. So grab a cup of tea, avoid answering your texts, and let's dive in. All right, first things first. Let's clear up a huge misconception. Being an introvert does not mean you hate people. Being an extrovert does not mean you love people. The real difference is where you get your energy from. Introverts need time alone to recharge. Social interactions drain them, even if they love the people they're with. Extroverts gain energy from being around others. They feel charged up by socializing. Ambiverts live in the middle, sometimes thriving in crowds, sometimes needing solitude. Psychologically, this comes down to brain activity and dopamine sensitivity. Let's dive a little deeper into that. Research has shown that introverts have a more active prefrontal cortex, which is the part of the brain responsible for deep thinking, planning, and reflection. This means they process information more deeply, but also get overwhelmed more quickly by external stimuli. The result? They may crave solitude as a way to recharge after an overload of social engagements. On the flip side, extroverts have a higher threshold for dopamine, the brain's feel-good neurotransmitter. They need more stimulation to get the same level of excitement that an introvert might get from, say, reading a book, being alone, or taking a walk in nature. While introverts find themselves drained by social engagements, this doesn't mean they dislike people. They just need time to recenter and recharge. So if you feel exhausted after hanging out with a group, it's not because you're antisocial. It's because your brain needs some downtime to recalibrate. Now let's talk about something that's not necessarily introversion, but is commonly mistaken for it: social burnout. You know that feeling, right? You wake up, your phone has 12 unread messages. You go to work, people talk to you all day. You get home, and even your cat wants attention. By the end of the day, someone saying, "Hey, how's it going?" feels like a personal attack. You're not just tired, you're socially drained. Here's the thing. Social burnout is a real psychological phenomenon. It's tied to something called cognitive load. Cognitive load is basically the mental effort required to process information. Every time you engage in a conversation, your brain has to listen, process emotions, respond appropriately. When you're constantly interacting with others, your cognitive load can exceed your capacity to function. It's not that the people around you are inherently annoying. It's just that your brain is overwhelmed by the constant processing, and as a result, even small interactions feel like emotional burdens. The emotional toll can also stem from empathetic fatigue. As humans, we naturally empathize with others, whether it's joy, sadness, or frustration. When we have to repeatedly engage with others, though, especially in emotionally taxing situations, our empathy reserves can deplete, causing us to feel irritated or detached. If you're someone who feels emotions deeply, this burnout can affect you more intensely, especially if you're empathizing with people who are in distress or experiencing heightened emotions. Now, here's the million-dollar question. Do you actually hate people, or do you just hate the people who drain you? Let's be honest. Some people make us feel energized. Some people make you want to run to the woods and never return. And guess what? Both are perfectly normal. We tend to forget that emotional connection plays a huge role in how we interact with others. Research on attachment theory shows that the way we connect with others, whether we're secure, anxious, or avoidant, can profoundly influence how we experience social interaction. If you're in an environment with people who don't respect your boundaries or trigger emotional discomfort, it's not your introversion at play that's the problem. It's the relationship dynamic. Think about it. If you feel drained only after certain social interactions, it's probably not socializing that's the problem. It's who you were socializing with. Some people are just energy vampires. If you're feeling emotionally drained, consider whether you're surrounded by people who respect your space and boundaries. Sometimes it's not about avoiding people in general. It's about being more selective about who gets your time and energy. Okay, so now that we know what's going on, what do we do about it? How can we recharge without turning into a complete hermit? Here are some tips that go beyond taking a nap. Number 1, schedule off days after big events. Going to a wedding, a party, a work function. Plan a recovery day afterwards, just to give you and your brain a break. Number 2, be honest about your energy levels. I'd love to hang out, but I really need a quiet night. Let's do something low-key later. Or, I just don't have the energy for a big event, but I'd love to catch up one-on-one. Remember, honesty is self-care, and it is okay to say no. Number 3, find low-energy social options. Instead of a big group dinner, how about suggesting a quiet movie night at home, or a small walk, or even a low-key brunch? Number 4, set boundaries with others. If someone tries to guilt you into doing something that drains you, that's a real red flag. Your mental and emotional well-being should always come first. But here's the deeper issue. Setting boundaries can be hard for some people due to emotional conditioning, past trauma, or fear of rejection. If you grew up in an environment where your needs were disregarded, or if you have an anxious attachment style, saying no can feel impossible. But here's the truth. You are allowed to take up space, to say no, and to protect your energy without feeling guilty. It's an essential part of self-care. So, let's sum up. Introversion is about energy, not people hating. Social burnout is real, and it affects everyone. Being selective about who gets your time isn't rude, it's self-care. If you have experienced social burnout, I'd love to hear from you. If you've managed to overcome social burnout, I'd love to hear from you too. Feel free to reach out to me at any time. My email is info@lesleyharvey.co.za. And I'll leave you with this quote from Susan Cain, author of Quiet. Spend your free time the way you like, not the way you're supposed to. So, if you're an introvert or extrovert, or just a person like me who's had enough of humans today, honor your energy. If you need to cancel those plans and sit in silence, do it. I fully support you. Thanks for joining me on Wellness Unplugged. Until next time, unplug, recharge, and remember, your wellness matters more than you think. spend your free time the way you like, not the way you think you're supposed to.
The radio station you can't live without. This is your radio.
This is South Coast Radio.